Hello and welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage and today we're going to be looking at Ethereum. Before we get into the price action, I just want to say thank you for watching. If you're enjoying the content, smash that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Why not leave us some feedback down below? And in the description below, you'll also find a link to the Discord. Why not check it out? It's free to join. Once you're in the general chat area, just mention member staff and we will be happy to help you out with anything you may need. Okay, so we still have a couple of possibilities here with Ethereum. We are still looking for that potential to actually come back and revisit this channel line here. We have to just be careful though, because there are some bullish options which are giving us a possibility to extend to the upside here. So we'll just have to see how we progress with this. However, if we do start to break down potentially this previous fourth wave area here of this 1501 would be an interesting zone, and then potentially this lower range within this white box area, which would be this 1535, which we've already actually come back into, and this lower range here. So we need to be careful that we haven't actually completed here and then we're starting to move away. Though within this one, effectively, I'd be looking for a bigger fourth wave here. So it would make more sense if this comes down, whether this becomes a W, an X, and a Y, and we actually look to come back down deeper here one more time, or whether this becomes a five-wave structure to the downside. That's what we would be looking for within this move. So effectively, we'd be looking for something like this. So the one-to-one of this Y wave is actually still down here at this 1539 area. And this C wave would potentially push down a bit deeper into this yellow box area, which is this 1549 to this 1500 area. So this is still something that I am looking for. It is possible, like I said, however, that we're following the other count and we've still got some upside here, and then we're going to look to break down. Um, it is also possible that we have a triangle in here. We're going to go over all these options within the video, but basically, I am looking for this fourth wave to be a bit bigger. So if we form this as a triangle over this distance, that would suffice, and then I'd be looking for that fifth to the upside, potentially coming to actually target out this channel line. If this is a triangle like this, though, we'd have to keep an eye on the internal legs of the structure to get a better confirmation. So effectively within this, what we're talking about is we're talking about this potentially being an A wave, coming back up for a B wave here, and then actually looking to progress down for a C wave. So it is possible that this could extend out slightly like this. If we're looking at this as a WXY, it could still extend to the side a bit more, where we actually come back down into this zone, find support again, and then look to push up one more time and then look to break down. So, we can't rush these things to say they're completed. This B wave could still be in play here. Alternatively, we could argue that potentially we've actually completed this B here, and what we could then be looking for is this C wave to the downside. So that C wave 1-to-1 is actually this 1590 area. If we come back into this zone, we have a couple of possibilities that could then be either a WX and a Y completed, where this Y wave actually moves up to here, and that's a completed move, or alternatively, this could still be within like that triangle we were talking about. So we're going to go over that as well. If we do start to break down more impulsively here, though, we could argue that we are having this yellow C wave. So this yellow C wave would consist of a five-wave move, and we were tracking this slightly different. The only way this makes sense anymore is that because we've actually come and taken this high point, the only way we could look at it as an impulse is where this is a diagonal here, where this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 as a leading diagonal. The thing is then, effectively what we would not want to do is come past this 1714. If we move back above that, that invalidates this option. It also invalidates the WXY, unless it's going to be a flat correction, which is possible. We'll have to see. But basically, if we move back above this 1714, this would invalidate this possibility of having a bigger five-wave move like this, where this actually becomes a wave 1, 2, and then confirmation would come by actually dropping down much deeper here to this 1525 zone, in which case we could see that would actually bring us right into this zone of this previous fourth. So if we do get this play out where we've got a bigger flat correction here, this is something that could play out, and effectively we could look to test this channel line here again, and then look to move up from there potentially. Though we'd have to obviously monitor this move as it goes for extension. We can see that, like I said, this would bring us right into that previous fourth wave. So that's basically the option I'm looking at for as a 5-wave move off of our current position. If we're going to come into this lower time frame here, what we'd want to see here is we'd want to see this start to break down, which it is doing for the most part, but we haven't lost any of these key support zones. We'd want to take this low out here of the 1624 and basically the 1622 as well. We do have this potential trend line that could offer us support. We can play around with this a little bit, but effectively off the bodies, this is where it comes into. So we'll have to see whether this is just a connecting move here and then we actually break down, or whether this is the start of something to the upside. So we'll talk about that as well. Effectively, this 5-wave move, if we're looking at it from this current point, wouldn't be able to go past this 1697 again. And what we'd want to see is, like I said, basically we'd want to see this form a 5-wave structure here where we potentially come into here as a 1-2, and then actually this starts to break down and we form a 3-4-5. Then we come back up, retest some of these zones, look for that rejection, and actually look to break down. So that's what we would be looking for if we're looking for this green third wave to actually play out. The alternative is that we have a triangle within this still that could also could still be playing out. And if I just throw this in, we can argue that potentially we have a triangle forming here where we have this as an A wave, this would become a B wave. In theory, then we could have actually completed this C wave and possibly this D wave within this count. Um, and then we could actually be looking to form this E wave to the downside. So these can also truncate. So if we do form a 3-wave move down here like this, it doesn't have to touch this channel line. It would be neater, but it doesn't have to. Sometimes these can truncate. If it crosses this C wave, though, we would have to say that if we're looking at this triangle, so the 1605, so C waves can also become more complex. So that's why I've got this W, X, and Y on here. If we're looking at this in a slightly different way, we can argue that this is a W, X, Y potentially to the downside, in which case we would be looking for this to come down towards this 1590 zone and that would then potentially be the C wave low. So these can become more complex and this could just shift this along like this. So until we actually get this come in, or we actually break to the upside and take this B wave high, we can't really validate this. But still, even if we move to the upside here without coming down in a 3-wave move, it would invalidate the triangle if we move past this 1714. So what we'd want to see if we want to validate this is staying within these ranges. We wouldn't want to cross this 1518 either, the A wave low point, and this B wave low point. But so of the way it's marked now, invalidation would be the C wave, but the C wave, like I said, could shift down to this position, and it would still fit within the narrative of a triangle at that point. Unfortunately, only breaking down past this 1518 would invalidate it, or above this 1714. So for as long as we stay within these ranges, it is still possible we could see this as a bigger triangle playing out. Like I said, this 1590 area will be interesting area if we do break down past the C wave here, and see whether we then get another 3-wave move to the upside. So it is possible that this, if we do break down to this zone, and we do get this 3-wave move to the upside here, that D wave could interact with this top channel again, look for that rejection, and then we get something like this play out where it's sort of a bigger triangle here. So this is something that could still happen. And then, we could look for the potential that this 4th wave then completes here, and we actually look to push up one more time for that 5th wave. So this is still something that we're keeping an eye on. We don't have a confirmation of this 5-wave move yet because we don't have this 4th wave completed yet. So we just got to give that time to complete, and then we will see where we go. I am anticipating another push up here for this 5th, but if it doesn't play out effectively, we need to be a bit careful of the lower side, the movements to the downside in case we start to break down from this point. Okay, so that's basically looking at these moves on the top end. We're also looking at an alternative count where we had our fourth wave potentially here. We argued that we could actually be starting to break down from here, where we form a W, X, or Y to the downside from this point, which is also still possible. It would need to get a bit bigger though, because we'd have to match that wave too. So, I wouldn't want to say it's complete here if that's the case. We'd want to say that we are still basically within it, like either as that ABC or within that triangle and looking to move more sideways. Um, within this structure, though, we have a couple of options because this is counting it slightly different. So this is saying we're still within the third wave. And within this, we were looking still at the possibility we could be looking to break to the upside here, where this becomes a 1-2, 1-2. Or alternatively, this just becomes a simple impulse as a 1. We come back down into the here as a 2. So I'm actually going to go over that one because that one is more likely, if I'm honest. And I think that, what we'd want to see here for confirmation. So I've only marked this most recent leg here because we would have to either look at this as a diagonal to start with here, or it's getting an extension. So if it's a diagonal, this would be a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it would be basically a leading diagonal here with made up of 5-wave structure. And then we'd want to see that retracement for that wave 2. So if we're looking at a diagonal in this zone, what we want is basically a retracement down to this 50%, which would be the 1651, and the lower end that we'd want to see is the 786. We wouldn't want to go much lower than that. So the golden pockets here at the 1640 to the 1637. So that's an interesting zone as well. See, there's a bit of consolidation in this area. So if we did have to come back down to this 618, confirmation would come by crossing this 1796. And then what that would mean is basically we have a bigger 5-wave structure here, where this becomes a 1, 2, pushes up for a 3, 4, 5. So that's looking at it as a diagonal. The other way we look at it is that we've got this extension playing out, and effectively this would be looking at this as a 1, potentially looking for this wave 2 here, and then looking for this 3, 4, and 5 to the upside. So confirmation would come by crossing above this 2773. That would be from actually dropping down to this 618 line. So we haven't come down into this area yet. It is possible it stops short at this 50%, which would push us slightly up. But the idea is the same. If we do get something like this, then it could be, rather than looking at this as a diagonal with the overlap here, we can potentially argue then that we have a 1, 2, 1, 2. And so we would be anticipating additional fourth and fifth waves here, where this becomes a 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5, 4, 5, basically. And basically within this, confirmation of a bigger impulse would only come by actually pushing up past this 1989 area. So that would be a zone that we would have to move up into to confirm this as a regular impulse, with this being a wave 1, 2. So this is looking for extension basically. It's not my favorite count, but it hasn't invalidated yet, so we have to respect that point. And if we do start to break down here and just move sideways, then it is also possible we could just be within either that triangle option. Yeah, either that triangle option, or actually we're still looking to break to the downside. I am anticipating still that would be neater, to break down here, whether that's in a 3-wave move or in a 5-wave move. That would sort of make the structure look a lot neater. So we'll have to just see how it plays out, but that's what I'm currently looking for. I'm just gonna see. Yeah, so I mean, the other option that we were looking at was actually of this diagonal as well. So I mean, this still hasn't invalidated, and potentially if we want to look at this, we can argue that we could still see this wave 3 play out, as a 3-wave move here, where we actually look to push up into this zone again. This top trend line is not set in stone here. Basically, the only thing that has to apply for this diagonal is that we have to actually stay below this 1812. So if we do get a move up here, bigger three-wave structure into this, that even if we do come down lower here and then this pushes up higher to this zone, we don't want to move past this area of this 1812 area. This is something that we can still also keep an eye on. Unfortunately, there is a lot of possibilities in this mess. So a 1-to-1 would actually bring us up here to the 702. So that would be towards this 1746. That would be based off of a retest of this previous structure here. So if we do push down, find support, and push up in another five-wave move here, it is possible that we actually look to complete this at this 1-to-1, and then that would be the third wave completed. Then we'd be looking for that additional three-wave move to the downside, finding support, and then looking for another three-wave move for this fifth wave. So it's a bit tricky here because, like I said, we could have this triangle playing out here, but if we do actually push up higher than this wave, than this what would be the B wave high, and we still continue to find three-wave structure here, this could be a possibility where we're actually looking to end in this diagonal for this third wave, and then actually we're going to look for that retracement after that point. So this is what we're going to have to just keep an eye on. For as long as we continue to hold this lower support line, we can argue that this is still viable. But if we do lose this 1604.73, this is no longer a possibility. Okay, so just moving on to the other one. We were also talking about this where we could get an extension. It's less likely in my opinion, but if we do move up into this zone of this 1858, we could actually still see these additional legs play out from further back here. This would then indicate, though, that we're actually still within this wave 3 if this does play out, and this wave 3 would actually be looking to extend out here. So this 1981 to this 1927 would be potentially an endpoint for this. So, you know, I don't think there's enough in this structure currently to say that it's the bigger fourth wave. Um, if it does play out, like I said, a bit more sideways, where this becomes an A, B, and a C, and we look to push down one more time here with a W, an X, and a Y, then it would fulfill that, in my opinion. And then we would be looking for that fifth wave to the upside for confirmation. So, like I said before, until we actually get this fifth wave push, we need to be careful because all we have is a three-wave move, which could still break to the downside. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash that like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and want to leave us some feedback down below in the comments section. Always happy to hear from you. And yeah, in the description, you'll also find a link to this Discord. Why not come check it out? Free to join, like I said earlier. Once in the general chat area, just mention a member of staff. We'll be happy to help you out with anything you may need. Also in the description below, you'll find affiliate links to BYBIT and PrimeXBT, both great exchanges that we use on a regular basis. Why not check them out? There are deposit bonuses. You can find out more information on the websites, but using the link does help support the channel, and we do appreciate it. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.